You know, humble people and Dylan Moran will talk about this effect that after a certain time of reiterating ideology and idealism, you begin to believe you're a bullshit. I think part of being an individual is acknowledging the sense in which you're like a plant, taking the time to stop and consider it, but dismissing the question of the contest between free will and determinism aside. We also evolved from plant life as well as monkeys. So it's true that there is a sense in which I can only be brainwaves to any of you. You can only be brainwaves to anyone you know and you. And it's all in your head, and it's all in my head. And you know, religious movement groups aren't thinking of that. They're thinking about how and why their group is smarter or better than any other group. So the Freemasons, in their secrecy, not only are they violating your rights and fucking with your lives in small little ways without you knowing it, they're doing it while convincing themselves that in their secrecy they've caught on to genius ideas, and that gods have truly appointed them to lead you, to lead me, to decide who's sick, to decide whose opinions or expressions that haven't harmed the rights of anyone else nonetheless constitute forms of sickness. And what they do, but the thing is that what they do when they endeavor to try and make the discoveries they make is disgusting. And they won't even tell people that they're subjects in a test. They'll even employ you, tell you you're a paid employee and pay you, and then teach you a bunch of stuff, and then you have to deal with and contend with what you were actually taught and yelled at to understand and believe in was to acknowledge that information, whether privately you didn't believe it anyway and were fighting it. It was what you had to do to have your job. And really they've wound you up for a test of some kind. But it didn't work because they couldn't hear the questions in the material that they wanted to incriminate. They only thought of prescriptive moral statements. None of them have psych degrees. Peter Holder is, I think, a repressed homosexual. His wife, Sally. I mean, there was a shift I was working with a friend, Amelia, and she said like she doesn't like to think about old people having sex. And Peter turned and yelled at her for it. And I was just quietly thinking like, what the fuck, Peter? You want to tell this young lady that she's wrong not to want to think of you having fucking sex at your age? But that's Capital Chemist in a nutshell. In a nutshell. But it's a celebration because they are overseas. They are well and truly known about internationally as a religious criminal organization. And the co-founders are both pedophilic, unqualified to study, and acquisitive of technologies through, I guess, black market channels. Because the Constitution of Australia means nothing to them.